Today I want to talk about add-ons in MMORPGs because as someone who plays both World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy, they are vastly different, and I think there's a bit of a problem because I've played WoW for over 10 years. I was a huge user of add-ons. I had all the add-ons, add-ons that changed the UI, the combat text, gold making, crafting, everything, boss mods, damage meters, anything you could get, I'd probably tried. And it was pretty normal. And then about a year ago, I started playing Final Fantasy 14. And add-ons are a grey area there. They're pretty much banned. They're pretty much frowned upon. You get banned if you've seen using them. So you'd rarely see a streamer going into like the hard raids with add-ons on. Like you wouldn't see all these UI add-ons on a stream or in a video or something that, Square Enix could report or ban. So it was rare, but people did use them. Mods and add-ons being banned is a big problem because in Final Fantasy you can gather something, craft something, list it on the auction house. And then let's say there's like 10 other things on the auction house. A second later, it gets undercut by one guild, beaten by anyone with an add-on, or you can break the rules and be a bad boy and join everyone that's using the add-ons. They put the fear and punishment in of using them, but then don't really punish the people using them. So it's a really weird area. And then again, like in Savage raiding, like the harder raiding in the game, a huge portion of the raiders use damage meters, and they upload their logs and they analyze them. And if you want to do a good job, you've got to do the same thing. You've got to do logs. You've got to look at your damage, see where your damage is coming from, and get better. And if everyone else is using them and you're not, you're the weak link. You don't want to be the weak link. So everyone around you is min-maxing generally, and they can see how bad your damage is. So you want to see yourself. And yeah, luckily in Final 14, because it's not allowed, because it's bannable, you won't normally go into a raid and see people call you out and say, your damage is bad. You're not doing this. They don't have that sort of information to hand, and if they do, they're not allowed to talk about it. So that's a win, I guess, but it's weird. It's a weird situation. And then on the flip side in WoW, add-ons are just a wild west. I don't know many people who don't use an add-on. And the issue is there, you'll get called out if you're not using add-ons, which is equally weird. If you go into a raid and your DPS is low, you'll get called out and more probably kicked from the raid for being bad at the game instantly. And yeah, you'll go in Vault of Incarnates, the newest raid, you go in, and Teros is one of like the second or third boss or something. And people, every single time I've been in there, there's some guy who links a weak aura, which is a type of add-on, and it tells everyone where to stand on this certain mechanic. And it like, right, before we go in here, everyone has to download this weak aura. Like, it's bizarre. It's basically, there's a mechanic where everyone has to stand and you have to split up. And if you get this thing, you go to each side and you have to split up in two. And people are like, oh, you've got to download this add-on, so we all know to stand in separate places. And it's just like, just play without them. But because everyone's using them, it's so bizarre. It's such a strange experience. So yeah, are add-ons good or bad? Or are they just a weird grey area? This is where I want you to let me know in the comments what you think. Add-ons good, add-ons bad. What would you change? And what's your experience depending on your MMO? Because I know really well Final Fantasy and WoW. I don't really know like Guild Wars, Star Wars, BDO. I don't really know the add-on use over there. I don't use any of those games. So I'm curious what the wider MMO world is like. But I'll give you my opinion of what I think should change. I think generally add-ons add a lot to the game, and they are really good. And if you look at a game like WoW, it's in Dragonflight, added so much to the game that people were using add-ons for, because people use them in add-ons so much that they added them to the game themselves. And I think if we didn't have add-ons for the last 10 years, we wouldn't have had that. There are UI changes that people have been making with an add-on for 10 years that have only just been implemented by Blizzard. So I think add-ons are great, and they add so much depth to the game, and you can customize it the way you want, but they get abused and there are problems with it. So yeah, I think if add-ons are used like World of Warcraft, like a Wild West, it's a huge issue. You become forced to use them in any competitive area. The raids are going to be designed knowing the community use add-ons, so they'll make them harder. Like if a WoW raid came out like Final Fantasy 14 with a handful of mechanics that would just move here, avoid this, WoW players would breeze it because there's add-ons that flash, make a noise, move here, tell you where to go, tell you what to do. Let's say there's a thing where two players have to run to each other. They'll flash both players and tell you where to go. If there's something you've got to get away from each other, they'll put a big marker on the screen showing if you're near somebody. So any simple mechanics like that, the add-on just does for you. So they have to put that in and then go over and above to make it harder, which is really frustrating because yeah, the end game in WoW now is just pure chaos. You can't even see what's going on the screen because you've got add-ons everywhere. There's like extra mechanics to make it harder. You've got your add-on flashing. You've got things in chat like shapes and colors and go to square, go to green, and your add-ons just telling you to do stuff. Players have got add-ons that have got this player interrupted this. It's chaos. But then in Final Fantasy, it's not very good either. It's not very good either. If you make add-ons bannable and then don't actively enforce it, you create an environment where everybody wants to, or a lot of people want to use them, but they don't want to break the rules. And it's a rough grey area. My ideal world would be developers categorize the add-ons and treat them differently. So a UI visual change should be completely fair play. It doesn't impact others. It makes your experience better, like combine your bags or let you move the UI around a different way, or change this from a blue circle to a gold box. Just things like that are like a no problem thing. I think boss add-ons that help you in combat should be fundamentally banned. I think the only reason the vast majority of WoW players use them is because the fights are made knowing that people use them, and because everyone uses them, you don't want to be at a disadvantage to other players. If it was an even playing field, you know, the game might be less chaotic. It might be, there won't be 1,000 things going off, and I don't know. I think it would be nicer. You see something when a WoW player, like a long-time WoW player like me, goes over to Final Fantasy. I started wiping to the stupidest mechanics. Like there'd be a line on the ground, move here, and then something else. Like 3 simple mechanics in a row going off at the same time. And I would die to it. And I'd be like, huh? I can do 10 times harder than that in WoW. And it's because you've got no add-ons. You're just bare. There's nothing telling you that things come in. Some of them don't even have cast bars. But there's something that'll flash underneath you. And if you're looking at a cast bar, or you're looking at a health bar, or you're healing and you're looking at someone else, you don't see that, you're just dead. And it's so weird that you don't have move, like constantly flashing to tell you that it's there. And it's a huge learning curve. And I think if you take that back to WoW, the game would be better. The game would be better, I think. And then damage meters. I don't know. I don't know what to do with damage meters. Who knows? Who knows? They help you get better at the game. I adore having a damage meter. I think it's great. I think it's great to see parsers and prog and see you go from a 50 to a 90, and to see you get better, and to start a new character, for example, and gear it up and get it better and learn your rotation and min-max to the point where you feel like one of the best players ever. It's great for personal development and growth in a game, but it's probably the most toxic thing in MMOs. I despise it. I despise people who use them to call people out, or to tell other people how to play their game when it's not asked for. I think it's one of the most divisive things in a game, in MMOs, and I can't stand it. But at the same time, I use it and I like it. So I don't know. I don't know what you do with damage meters. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think. I really want to know what people think on this. Add-ons and MMOs, good, bad? How should they be enforced? How should they be done? Who does it best? Let me know. I'm really curious. But yeah, that's it for this video. Just a rambling video after playing a lot of WoW and a lot of the new Final Fantasy patch, and seeing so many differences. Really, really curious to see what you all think. That's it. Take care.